Hello, everyone. I'm Donna Fiducia.
And I'm Don Neuen, and this is Cowboy Logic Radio.
Cowboys didn't dance, didn't wear designer shirts. When their hearts were filled with memories, their bodies filled with hurt. They would sit around the campfire and exchange a piercing glance. Back when the West was really wild, cowboys didn't dance.
And welcome to Cowboy Logic Radio, everyone. I'm Donna Fiducia. I had to blurt my name out because normally I can't get it in until you blurt your name out, but I see you're clearing your throat.
Okay. All right, here we go. Are we ready to start the show?
We started about 30 seconds ago. Where have you been?
Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Don Neuen, and I'm coming to you live from the Talk America Radio studios in Dallas, Texas.
Not really. That's talkamericaradio.us studios that originate in Dallas, but that's our network. We're actually in Georgia.
All right, let me try it again.
Okay.
All right.
Try it again.
Hi, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Don Neuen, and I'm coming to you live from the WDDQ Talk 92.1 FM studios in Valdosta, Georgia.
Well, we're there too, but that's not where we actually are.
Man, do you have any idea how tiring this is doing this?
Yeah, it's tiring watching you do it too because you get all, like, you shake when you start to blurt out your name.
Right,
it's really pretty funny to watch.
Let's see if it works with WJHC.
Okay.
Are you ready? Okay. Mm-hmm. You want to count me down? 3, 2, 1. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Don Neuen, and I'm coming to you live from the WJHC Talk 107.5 FM studios in Jasper, Florida.
And there's one more that you left out, which is actually closest to where we originate from, Carrollton, Georgia.
Count me down on this. I have to have a countdown because that's the professional thing to do.
All right, this is our next affiliate, folks. Ready?
Okay.
3, 2, 1.
Well, wait a minute. You counted too fast.
Oh, sorry.
Slow it down and don't say the one. Point to me. That's how I do it to you.
Oh, okay. 3, 2.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Don Neuen, and I'm coming to you live from the WLBB News Talk 1330 AM and 106.3 FM studios in Carrollton, Georgia.
So you got all the affiliates in there. That's talkamericaradio.us, WDDQ Talk 92.1 out of Valdosta, Georgia, Talk 107.5 out of Jasper, Florida, WJHC and WLBB 1330 AM and 106.3 FM in Carrollton, Georgia. So I did in 30 seconds what you took the last 3.5 minutes to do.
3, 2.
No, I'm not going to start the show again because I want to talk about news now. We have a lot of news to talk about. I know it's the holiday week.
Merry Christmas, everyone, and Happy Hanukkah.
You can say Merry Christmas now. Donald Trump said that.
Donald Trump told us to say
we can
that.
say Merry Christmas now.
Hey, I don't know if any of you saw this last week or listened to this last week, but we interviewed Donald Trump for almost an entire segment, and I thought that was rather funny. Didn't you, Donna?
I thought it was. He's got a great sense of humor. It's pretty obvious.
If you missed that, please go back to the archives found at cowboylogic.us and listen to last week's show.
He's got a sense of humor very similar to Chris X's.
He does. It's amazing how those guys have such a similar sense of humor.
Hey, I
Ladies
have a
and
question.
gentlemen, Donna Fiducia has a question. Back to you, Donna.
Is there a name for this corruption at the top of the FBI besides Robert Mueller's probe? Is there a name for this corruption? Any, like a project of some sort?
Wasn't there a probe on Austin Powers?
Yeah, that's true. And there's nothing more pathetic than an aging hipster.
Shouldn't we be using a different name than probe? Sounds so
anal.
Sounds vulgar, to be honest with you.
And that's kind of what Austin Powers said. I'm going to get actually to an
like
aging
some
hipster.
old pervert going, "Come here, little boy."
Well, Judge Alex
Come here, little boy.
Kaczynski is the commie lib in the Ninth Circus Court of Appeals. He resigned over sexual misconduct allegations. Good riddance. Libs getting what they sow, I guess. But you can pick these gray-haired, aging hippie freak out of a lineup. You really
Ninth
can.
Circuit, right?
Exactly. And you know what? Like Austin Powers says, there's nothing more pathetic than an aging hipster.
And the Ninth Circuit Court is full of them.
Yep, and that's the one that gets overturned half the time.
Some of these pervs are falling on both the right side and the left side of the aisle. We should not forget about that.
I have no
What's
problem
his name?
with that.
Frankenfurter or
Al Franken?
No. The guy from Texas.
I don't remember what his name was, but he tried to get a surrogate.
Humperdinkle.
But he tried to talk a woman. He wanted to be a surrogate father.
No. That is
one?
no.
That's a guy from Texas.
That's what's his name? I can't remember. But the guy that I'm thinking about's fat, and he has a very long name like Hoffenninker or
Hassenpfeffer?
Yeah, something like that.
I have no idea. There's so many of them now. There's just so many, and you know what? As far as I'm concerned, weed them all out. Get rid of them.
Weed everyone.
Care.
This should not be political. If you have committed this type of a vile act,
provable,
Hillary Clinton, you should be removed, Bill Clinton. And anybody that does this type of a thing, Hillary Clinton, should be punished to the full extent of the law. They should be removed, Bill Clinton, from office, and Hillary Clinton, they should come and take you away.
Exactly. And I love all
Bill
these
Clinton.
leftists that did everything they could to push Hillary Clinton through and didn't give a darn about all of Bill Clinton's.
The ladies with the purple or the pink pussycat hats?
Yeah. And they
None
don't
of
give
them
a darn
said anything
about rapes that Bill Clinton definitely committed. Okay, that's something that definitely happened. This isn't hearsay. But in the case of Judge Roy Moore, I don't want to rehash this, but we're talking decades. And as far as I'm concerned, you are starting down a slippery slope if you're guilty until proven innocent where this is concerned. But that's not where I want to go. Well, yes, you have your hand up, Mr. Neuen?
Yes. Let's talk about this whole Judge Roy Moore thing for a second, because I've got a little bit of a different angle on this. Mm-hmm. I don't think Judge Moore ever should have been in a position to run for Senate. You know why?
Because of Mitch McConnell.
No. Do you know why?
Why?
Because Jeff Sessions should have never been put in as the AG.
Well,
you don't create a void in the Senate when you've got a successful seat being held by Jeff Sessions. Okay?
Well, you know what?
I've got a great point, Donna Fiducia.
You have an excellent point, and I chalk that up to the fact that as business-minded as Donald Trump is, he's not that politically savvy. I think he's getting there, and he's learning on the job, unfortunately, but he doesn't have the handlers like Barack Obama did from day one, and he hit the ground running.
Jeff Sessions should have never been yanked out of the Senate and put in as AG.
And
Andy
frankly,
McCarthy, maybe. But he wasn't coming out of the Senate. He didn't create a void.
I agree. And quite frankly, I wish Jeff Sessions would be yanked out of the AG position, but that's another story.
But now we've already screwed ourselves on the right side of the aisle.
It's only for 2 years. And it is Alabama. And the thing is,
I blame the GOP.
Exactly.
I blame the Trump administration for that move. I blame everybody except myself, because I read it, I saw it, I knew it, I felt it, I had a vibe, and I'm angry about this.
What really was annoying was the fact that McConnell wanted this guy in that he put in there because he wanted... Why are you shaking? What is wrong with you?
I was agreeing with myself.
Oh, okay. Is that what you're doing? He's shaking his head
I was
like a
nodding my
bobblehead
head because I was agreeing with myself.
He's like a bobblehead doll. But first of all, McConnell picked the guy who took Sessions' place.
Hey, do your McConnell impersonation.
Pick the guy that...
It's like he's got 18 marbles in his mouth. Very good, Donna.
And
ladies and gentlemen, that was Donna Fiducia's Mitch McConnell.
I forget who
Mitch
Hannity
McCornhole.
picked. Hannity picked the other guy. I forget what the guy's name is, but I started looking into him, and actually Laura Ingraham liked him a lot, and I kind of agreed with both of them. But of course, the GOP couldn't put their weight behind this guy because they have to pick the rhino, which Mitch McConnell had to pick. Okay, so now the
Hey, why do you shake when you do that?
Because I can get my
your jowls
cheeks
going?
to go.
Don't ever talk about me shaking again.
Okay.
Because you were just shaking.
So then McConnell won't back the guy that finally
Don't
gets...
forget the blueberries, Norman.
Exactly. No, that's what's her face up in wherever the heck she is, Maine. Susan Collins.
Don't forget to vote, Mitch. Blueberries.
Oh man, we're
Mitch.
really bad. Anyhow,
Merry Christmas, everyone.
The bottom line is, then McConnell, in typical rhino fashion, then pulls all of the money out and doesn't give any kind of push behind Roy Moore. You know what? I gotta tell you, it's too bad I sealed the envelope, but the Republican National Committee sent me a piece of paper. What are you doing? You're making...
I'm just
have no teeth?
Listening.
Oh, okay. The RNC sent me this big piece of paper and this whole thing you got to fill out, right? Do you think Trump's doing a good job? Do you think the media is helping Trump? Do you think Trump is getting his point across? Do you like Trump's tax thing? And I'm filling this all out in respect to what the RNC wants me to say. And then at the very end says, can we rely on your $50 or $100 or even more donation? And so in a Sharpie, I put, no way, Jose.
Ooh, so you threw a little Hispanic in there.
I put, do not even think I'm going to give you money for the RNC because you guys do nothing but throw any kind of roadblock you can into Donald Trump's
Did you
way.
mail it?
Yeah, I had to put my own stamp on it too, and I did.
Way to go.
Yeah.
Hey, can I tell a quick story?
Yeah, but hurry up because I want to get to Project Cassandra.
Well, yeah, but before we get to that, I do need to tell you guys a quick story. I had a conversation on the way into work yesterday with some lifelong friends of mine that I went to high school with and have stayed close to throughout all these years. So I've known these guys, 40 years probably. And they both happen to be black guys. And so I had them on a conference call this morning, and we were talking about Black Lives Matter. Now, both of these guys have voted both Democrat and Republican. And actually, one of these guys has voted Republican more than he's voted Democrat for president.
He's a business owner.
Yeah, they both are business owners.
Bingo.
And so we came to an understanding that was very unique. And that was that all of us, all three of us, now remember, two black guys and me, the honky, we both, all three realized that Black Lives Matter was a complete failure straight out of the gate, even though it was concocted in a bottom floor room of the White House by some lady from India.
It was meant to. It was meant to.
But here's the thing. If you really wanted to affect social justice in a positive way, this would have come out of the gate as all lives matter.
But they don't want that.
Because there's no possible way to create division with the word all.
Exactly. But that's not what the White House wanted. We're talking Saul Alinsky. Create
That's
chaos.
correct.
Therefore, only certain groups' lives matter. And then you push that through, it gets other people annoyed, and next thing you know, they're fighting each other. It's exactly what they want.
But it's
Create
so
chaos.
refreshing to have me as a white guy. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to name these guys, but guy number 2, who's very dark, and guy number 3, who often could be confused with a Mexican person.
Okay.
Okay.
So
the three of us get together.
Matter, white lives matter, and
all lives matter. And that's why this was a failure. That's why it divided the country exactly like they wanted it to do.
So it didn't. It's not
and
a failure.
And it would never accomplish what they all claim that it will do, which is help with social justice and equality when it comes to justice.
But they
because
never
they didn't use the word all. All lives matter.
I agree. But the thing is, the people who started this movement, which is the deep state, didn't want that to begin with.
Absolutely
and
didn't want it.
quite frankly, believe that That is the Democrat Party of today, unfortunately. Now, there's a comedian, and believe it or not, he's a very
Who is it?
conservative comedian that we know quite well, and he's
What's
been
his
on the
name?
show. His name is Evan Sayet.
His life matters.
Yes, and he's going to be at
And
the
he's
South...
Jewish.
So he's celebrating Hanukkah. We'll get to that in a minute. He'll be at the South Carolina Tea Party convention that we will be at as well.
I'm going to ask him to sing the Adam Sandler song when I see him.
Well,
because
he's
a Billy. What's his name? What's the guy
Adam
you like?
Sandler.
No, the guy
Billy
you
Madison.
Like. No, the guy from New Jersey that has a bean farm.
Bruce Springsteen?
Yes, he's a Springsteen fan.
Oh, yeah, he is a huge Springsteen fan. By the way, Bruce Springsteen pays no taxes.
And all of his songs sound exactly the same. Evan.
$1 million an acre.
Evan. They all sound the same. Evan and Donna.
No, they don't sound the same.
They all sound the same, and Clarence plays the same solo in every song.
That's yeah, but you know what? His lyrics make Bob Dylan
doesn't
look
matter
like
when all the songs sound the same. You don't know which songs is which song.
I can tell you from the first two notes what song it is.
I can too. Same song I heard 4 minutes ago.
No, it isn't. No,
well, and with the case of Bruce,
don't agree with his politics.
Ladies and gentlemen, nothing is more painful than going on a 900-mile road trip with Donna Fiducia when we've got Sirius FM or XM radio or whatever it's called, and she plays the E Street radio, and we're hearing the same songs for 20 years in different concert live settings.
Doesn't matter. It's awesome. It's just great. Max Weinberg is one of the best drummers ever.
It reminds me of that old saying.
What?
Pete and Repeat were crossing a bridge. Pete fell in. Who was left?
Pete.
Pete and Repeat were walking across the bridge. Pete fell in. Who's left?
Repeat.
There you go. That's a Bruce Springsteen E Street radio.
Can I finish this story,
Yeah, back
please?
to you, Donna.
Gosh.
What are you going to talk about now?
Evan Sayet, the comedian that, I started talking about this
Bruce
2 minutes
Springsteen
ago.
lyrist guy.
He did say Obama weaponized the IRS against political enemies, especially the Tea Parties. And again, we will be at the South Carolina Tea Party convention. We're going to MC one day, and we're going to talk to everybody up there as well.
I'm going to river dance.
So why would he...
I'm going to do my river dance routine.
So why would he not also weaponize the FBI against political opponents? He wouldn't.
Good point.
Okay? Now, it is an excellent point. Here's what I want to say. Throw in the CIA there as well.
John Brennan.
Yes. Hence Project Cassandra, which was something thwarted by the Obama administration from the top down. And you need to go to Denise Simon's website.
I happen to have this in front of me.
It's founderscode.com. Founders with an S code.com. It's a very lengthy article, folks. Just remember, Project Cassandra. I'm going to sum this up. You want to try to do this in less than 2 minutes?
I'm going to do it very quickly.
Okay.
Here's the deal, ladies and gentlemen. Denise Simon posted an article on December 17th. Hezbollah's billion-dollar criminal enterprise Obama ignored. Hezbollah's billion-dollar criminal enterprise Obama ignored. This was posted on December 17th by Denise Simon at founderscode.com. It is a 14,000-word article.
Well, Denise can read that
I tried to
30
prep
seconds
with
or
it
less.
before the show, and I ran out of time.
Let me give the gist of it. You can probably go to politicalvanguard.com, our good friend Tom Del Baccaro's website. I'm sure it'll be up there soon as well. Hezbollah sold drugs through used cars in America that were sold to Africa, and they brought cocaine into the U.S. to the tune of $1 billion a year. All in an effort to schmooze Hezbollah to try to improve tensions with Iran and the Muslim community. This was all an effort by the Obama administration to push the Iranian nuke deal through. John Brennan was the CIA director at the time, and he went further. He said, quote, greater assimilation of Hezbollah was needed. And he tried to build up moderate elements of Hezbollah and the militia, again, into almost a political party. John Brennan, I'm sorry, and I say this all the time, folks, he's not your typical nice Irish Catholic boy. He converted to Islam when he went to the Middle East. John Brennan, the CIA director under Barack Obama, is in my opinion, somebody who is helping to foment radical Islam here in the United States. I said it. It might be a step too far, but you know what? If the shoe fits, wear it.
I want to find a paragraph, Donna, about this. Hang on a second.
Let me say one other thing that did happen, though, on Monday. The CIA tipped Russia off about an impending ISIS attack that by all accounts would have been horrific on a landmark cathedral this coming Christmas in St. Petersburg, Russia. So that, again, the CIA does some great things. But I feel the head of the CIA, that would be John Brennan under Obama, the head of the FBI, which was Comey, and also Mueller under Obama, the fish rots from the head down, unfortunately. And these people were doing everything they could, I feel, against the betterment of the United States of America. Period.
Yeah.
Because this Project Cassandra was going on for years, and the Obama administration thwarted it.
Well, they actually squelched it so that they could pull off the Iran nuke deal. That's the whole thing. I'm going to read one paragraph out of this article that Denise posted. The campaign, dubbed Project Cassandra, was launched in 2008 after the DEA, the Drug Enforcement Administration, amassed evidence that Hezbollah had transformed itself from a Middle East-focused military and political organization into an international crime syndicate that some investigators believed was collecting $1 billion a year from drug and weapons trafficking, money laundering, and other criminal activities. And this includes used cars. Now, what was the big thing that the Obama administration did, like the first year or so?
Cash for clunkers.
There you go.
Yep. I was wondering about that myself. By the way, Politico also writes about this. I don't know if they actually say Project Cassandra by name.
Yeah, they do.
But the Obama administration, again, rushed through the Iran deal by making a deal with Hezbollah and releasing senior Hezbollah drug dealers as well.
And here's what sucks,
Donna. They didn't want to upset the Iranians, so this deal would go through. This is treasonous. This is collusion. That's collusion, folks.
Denise Simon thinks this is bigger than any scandal ever. Period. End of story. And what sucks about it is that not even Fox News was giving this the time of day.
Well, they are now, because actually this political story is where I got it from, and you got it from Denise. And when you came home tonight to do the show, we're both talking about the same thing. So it's going to take its time. Again, my question is, what is Jeff Sessions doing? Where is Jeff Sessions in all this? You can bet your backside that if this were reversed...
I don't know what Jeff Sessions is doing right now. I just don't know what he's doing right now. Right now, he probably is doing something, but I don't know what it is.
The problem is, if this were reversed and you had the Democrats in there, Republicans doing this, people would be hauled off to jail instantaneously. That's what drives me nuts. Absolutely. Before we go to Christmas, we're going to play some Christmas songs for the second hour and get everybody into the Christmas spirit.
Going to do something big time different. We're going to play DJ.
But The Atlantic, that great journalistic endeavor, declared that Breitbart is naughty and not nice for its deplorable line of Christmas
When was the last time The Atlantic was relevant?
I don't know. They called it a thoroughly deplorable Christmas.
Donna Fiducia, who do we have coming up next? And before you tell everyone that, I would like to say Merry Christmas, everyone. Back
Absolutely.
to you, Donna.
We'll be talking to David Ray from the Federation for Immigration Reform, or FAIR, coming up after the break. And again at the top of the hour, some nice Christmas songs to get you into the spirit as we kind of switch gears a little bit here on Cowboy Logic Radio.
Merry Christmas, everyone. And let's hear a little bit of Lone Star right now.
Cowboys didn't dance, didn't wear designer shirts, when their hearts were filled with memories, their bodies filled with hurt. They would sit around the campfire.
Hi, thank you for listening. My name is Ron Phillips, and I'm the owner and operations manager of Talk America Radio. It is with great pride that I offer you these two 24/7 streams of some of the finest talk radio programming in the country, but I need your support. Talk America Radio is a listener-supported network. That means we need your help to continue to offer the quality programming you're hearing right now. Please visit talkamericaradio.us and click the Support Us button. You can contribute monthly or send us a one-time amount. We'll put it to good use continuing to share the American voice. Thank you.
This is Denise Simon, host of the Denise Simon Experience. When I'm not debating with Donna Fiducia about politics, I listen to Cowboy Logic Radio. Why, you ask? Because outside of my blog, founderscode.com, and my own radio show, the Denise Simon Experience, Cowboy Logic is by far the most entertaining and informative radio show on planet Earth. Plus, Don makes me feel guilty if I don't listen to his radio show every week.
You're listening to your local news source, WLBB, News Talk 1330 and FM 106.3.
Hey everybody, they're back on again!
Cowboys didn't dance, didn't wear designer shirts, when their hearts were filled with memories, bodies filled with hurt. They would sit around the campfire and exchange a piercing glare, yes. Back when the West was really wild, cowboys didn't dance.
And welcome back to Cowboy Logic Radio. I'm Donna Fiducia, along with Don Neuen.
Feliz Navidad, ladies and gentlemen. Feliz Navidad. Me llamo Donaldo Neuen. Back to you, Donna.
Your Spanish is just really bad. I'm sorry, just really bad. We got to.
Well, here's the thing, Donna. I thought that it would be good to do this based on the fact that we're going to be talking about a certain subject. And I want to sound Mr. International. I want to sound like I'm borderless.
In other words, because we're talking immigration?
Yeah, exactly.
Gosh, that's so bad.
So I did sound Mr. International, right?
I think you're racist. I
am not racist at all.
Well, anytime you're controversial,
but when I speak like that, the first thing that comes to my mind is rich Corinthian leather.
Yes. Thank you, Ricardo Montalban.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we're dating ourselves. We're going to talk about immigration right now with a gentleman by the name of David Ray. He is the communications director for FAIR, which is the Federation for American Immigration Reform. David, welcome back to Cowboy Logic Radio.
Hey, Donna and Don. Thanks for having me back. Good to hear from you.
Good to hear from you, again, sir.
Hey, your organization, David, pretty much says it all. Federation for American Immigration Reform.
Right.
But that's really not the case. I mean, these one world order, no borders, I can't stand these people, but that's what the big push is. To them, it's not immigration, it's just migration, so it seems, because us little worker bees should be able to migrate, like with H-1B visas, into the United States and maybe out of the United States or wherever we're needed to, help out the evil 1%ers. I mean, that's what it's really getting down to. And thank God Trump is trying to push back against it, huh?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. We've gone from, I think it's a result of multiculturalism, where our immigration policy has become one that seems to solely care what is it that the immigrants want and how can we give it to them. They want more visas, we give them more visas. They want to bring in extended family, fine. You can bring in your cousins and your aunts and your uncles and so on and so forth. And we reached a point with the founding of FAIR where some people started saying, hey, immigration is a public policy and must first and foremost serve the national interest. American taxpayers are paying our government to administer this policy, just like we pay for the administration of education and so on. And their primary responsibility is to make sure immigration serves the national interest. What does that mean? It means we have borders where people can't openly come in and commit crimes or acts of terrorism against Americans. We have an immigration system that doesn't displace American workers. We have an immigration system that can control who comes in and keep out who isn't supposed to be coming in. And on all those fronts, our immigration policies over the last several decades have failed. Thankfully, President Trump has a different perspective, and that is immigration in the national interest? How does it serve to forward the goals of the country and the health and welfare of the American public? And that's the paradigm under which we should be looking at immigration policy.
Here's what really bothers me is the left has gone so far left that it's almost becoming in vogue to hate the United States. So it's not in our best interests, or at least the American taxpayers' best interest, to not, to have tighter border security. I mean, these recent 2 terrorist attacks in New York City, that might help bolster Trump's immigration agenda, because the one guy came here on a lottery, which is insane to me. And then this last guy, who unfortunately didn't successfully blow himself up in Port Authority in New York City, he was part of the family extension thing. I guess he was as a great uncle or some stupid thing like that.
He was a cousin.
Yeah. And so what is the latest on that? Because I know this is all tied in to the budget as well.
Right. So, nothing exemplifies the failure of immigration to operate in the national interest like chain migration. Here we have, if you look at the immigration system of other major immigration receiving countries, and there aren't that many, but Canada and Australia have both moved to a merit-based system. And that's a system that President Trump has talked about and advocated, but it would award visas based on a skill you have, level of education, particular know-how, fluency with English, all these things that are going to be fairly good predictors of the fact that you're coming to the United States with skills and you're going to be able to succeed, so you won't be a charge on the American public. Instead of selecting immigrants that way, we select them through crazy processes called the visa lottery, which is actually literally just pulling names out of a hat, 55,000 a year from countries that have been underserved by America's immigration policies. And then family chain migration takes in, like the first New York nutcase that you mentioned who killed 8 people, the Sayfullo Saipov. He actually had brought in 23 family members before he went out and released his carnage onto New York City. The most recent guy, this probably the most incompetent bomber since the underwear bomber, this guy by the name of Allah, who is the most recent one. He was a nephew or a cousin of the primary immigrant who came in through the visa lottery, and then through family chain migration, he was able to get in because not because he has a skill, not because he has a talent, not because he has a love for America or Americans clearly, but only because he has a family member here. So today's immigrants, or yesterday's immigrants, are picking tomorrow's immigrants and driving tomorrow's immigration policy. President Trump and Republican Senators Cotton and Perdue have introduced a bill that would change that. It would move the country to a merit-based immigration system. We'd select people because they can do better for themselves and they can do better for the United States. They arrive with skills. They arrive with some English-speaking ability. And so on. And so it would allow us to bring people here because what they have to contribute, not because of their bloodline. Of course, if you're chosen, you would come in with your spouse and minor children, but that's the end of the chain right there. Anybody else in your family who wants to come here has to compete on their own merit for the limited number of visas. Let's face it, when an immigrant arrives in the United States, we have a heck of a lot to offer them. Probably the most opportunity of any country in the world. It's not too much of us to ask, what do you have to offer us?
David Ray, it appears that over the past 8 to 10 years, that we've had a whole lot of people coming into this country from countries that don't like us. And we've had very few people coming into this country from countries that actually do embrace America. Am I correct in my statement that has been, a majority, a more popular approach to bringing people into the country over the last 8 to 10 years, or am I wrong with that? And why are we not reversing that? Why are we not increasing the number of people that we admit into the United States from countries that actually embrace us. And then a third part of that question, why are people, especially white people from South Africa, not allowed into this country?
Or Europeans.
Or Europeans for that matter. But we're picking anybody of a sand color and bringing them in at will.
Well, I mean, the fact is that, as I mentioned, tomorrow's immigration policy is driven by yesterday's immigrants. So if you look at African Americans, their ancestors came here hundreds and hundreds of years ago. Most European Americans, their ancestors came here about 100 years ago. Their ties to their home countries are broken. So because the vast majority of people being allowed in are relatives of recent immigrants, you have an overwhelming majority of the visas being consumed by the newer arrivals, primarily Latin America and Asia. On top of that, as you touched on, the problem with importing people who actually hate us and want nothing more than to destroy American culture. You have those flows through the refugee program, where we are bringing in people from very dangerous parts of the world without adequate vetting. And then you have, the visa lottery, which is going to a lot of these countries that were left out of the immigration flow. And these are some very, very dangerous countries, as we've learned. And that's why it's important to do away with chain migration, to do away with the visa lottery system, and to actually select people who have something to offer us and might have some kind of familial attachment or some sort of love for the United States. Otherwise, we're going to have to do a heck of a lot better job of background checking people and so on before they come in. Unfortunately, with the level of immigration as it is today, over 1 million a year, it's really hard to adequately vet even the legal immigrants that were coming in. And so that's why, as I mentioned earlier, the RAISE Act, it takes family relationships out of it. It takes any sort of favoritism towards any country over any other country out of it. It allows people to, the United States is a meritocracy. People who work hard tend to do well here. We should have a merit-based immigration system, and that's what the RAISE Act would do. And that's one of the things that President Trump and the Republicans have been pushing for, is to end chain migration and restore some sense to our immigration policies, so that those who have something to offer and have strong desires to come to the United States have a fair shot at doing so.
We're talking with Communications Director David Ray from FAIR, that is the Federation for Immigration Reform. David, the other thing I always say, well, first of all, what we just talked about is pretty much about the only thing Barack Obama, in my opinion, didn't lie about, and that is he's going to fundamentally change America. Because I feel that's what he tried to do over the last 8 years by focusing like a laser beam on these countries that basically hate us. But as you say, we're trying to work on that, and thank God Donald Trump is pushing back on that issue. But I've always said, in just about anything, follow the money trail. And you have these so-called religious organizations that are paid by our federal government to push this. And I'm talking about Lutheran services, Catholic charities. I mean, these are Christian organizations that are pushing to have mostly Muslim countries. And I'm sorry, it's not a Muslim ban per se. But if you've got a situation where the majority of these countries hate us, claim they hate us, why would you bring them in? And they are mostly Muslim majority countries, A, and B, they can't be vetted because their paperwork in many cases doesn't even exist. They can fabricate it. But you're talking close to, with these various religious organizations, close to $1,900 a person the federal government pays them. Right. And that really, to me, is huge. And nobody talks about that.
It's interesting, it's a money-making system for some of these organizations like the ones you mentioned, where they're actually paid per head to bring in refugees. And then the scandal is, let's just say they're coming into a place like Dayton, Ohio. So they're paid, as you said, upwards $1,900 or so on to bring in a refugee from, let's say, someplace that's almost impossible to vet someone like Syria. And then once they drop them off in Dayton, Ohio, it becomes the responsibility of the state and local taxpayers and federal taxpayers to support them. Their kids end up going into English as a special language training, which is very expensive. The education for the kids obviously is free. People who are coming in as refugees automatically are enrolled in welfare programs. That's picked up by the federal government. So we're paying these refugee relocation organizations to bring people in, and then they just push them right on the welfare rolls. The American taxpayer picks up the tab sometimes with some of these folks for the rest of their lives. And these social service organizations go out and find themselves more refugees to bring in. It is a cottage industry. It's a moneymaker for them. There's very little overhead and very little cost. And as we've seen, not a whole lot of vetting. It's hard to screen people who are coming from countries where they are hotbeds of terrorism. The governments don't cooperate with us. In some cases, we don't have embassies in these countries. It's like vetting a stranger. How much information can you get when the town doesn't exist anymore and the government doesn't give you any documents? And that's really what we've been facing in terms of the refugee program. So President Trump recognized the danger of this, and I think a lot of people were whispering in his ear that, this was going to be a sleeping problem for the United States if we didn't get a better handle on really knowing who it was that we were bringing into the country. And that's why he pushed forth the temporary halt in admissions from a handful of countries that were hotbeds of terrorism, where vetting is almost impossible. This was not a Muslim ban because it was a temporary halt in admissions from all residents of those countries. There were Christians and Jews in the countries that were part of the refugee of the temporary halt, who were stopped from coming in as well. It wasn't a Muslim ban, and it wasn't permanent. It was temporary until we could assess the systems that we had in place to make sure that we were only letting in people who actually were coming here for the right reasons and not to create mayhem, as we've seen recently in New York.
Outside of the excuse of a mental disease that somehow forces individuals into making absolutely irrational and terrible decisions, in your opinion, what is the mind thought? What is the thought process behind bringing these types and this number of these types of individuals into the country? Because anybody that's got any degree of the ability to critically think or common sense, or at least the best interest of their own home country, the United States, would listen to what we're talking about here and go, this is the biggest no-brainer in the history of the earth. Why are we allowing it to happen? And what's the thought process of both our elected officials and the far left that could be explained outside of just simply it is a mental disorder?
Well, I think, touching on what Donna said earlier, you have the Democratic Party has pretty much become the open borders party, let's face it. And what's behind their motivation for open borders? They look at immigrants as a way to import voters. These folks are coming in, they're going to be poor, they're going to rely on social service structure. I mean, the average 25% of the immigrants coming in under the current system have less than a high school education. These folks are pretty much going to be stuck in poverty, and they are going to love the types of programs that Democrats have to offer people who are having a hard time making it in this country. And then there's a part of the Republican Party, the Wall Street Journal section of the Republican Party, that looks at unfettered, uncontrolled, open immigration as a way of getting cheap workers to American businesses. And when these workers stumble and don't do well, the businesses don't pick up the tab for them, do they? It's the American taxpayer when they end up, on the welfare rolls. So there are open borders advocates on both sides of the party, but the Democratic Party has really, thankfully, the open borders Republicans have been silenced a little bit by the strong Trump contingency that has now taken control of the party. But the open borders Democrats are completely out of control. I mean, just look at one example. About 11 years ago, there was a bipartisan bill that passed the House and the Senate. It was sponsored and supported by Senators Schumer, Clinton, and Obama. This is when Obama was still a senator.
When he actually voted on something?
Well, if I'm not
voted.
Yeah, that was the one thing he voted on.
That was one thing he showed up to vote for. I'm sorry. Go ahead, David.
No, but they agreed and voted for, with 23 other Democrats, the Secure Fence Act of 2007 that would have, or 2006, excuse me, that would have put 700 miles of barriers along the U.S.-Mexico border as a way to stop illegal immigration and ensure the national interest. People were still in the mindset of 9/11 and understanding that we know there are a lot of people who want to come in and do us harm. Now, today, Senator Schumer, if you talk to him about, building the wall or putting up impediments to immigration on the U.S.-Mexico border, that has become, an absolute outrage and a sign of racism. And you have the Democratic Party now. I mean, the nation is barreling towards a deadline on December 22nd, where we're going to run out of money if they don't come up with a budget agreement. And the Democrats going into this have said, we will not leave Washington without an amnesty as part of this budget deal, and are really, at this point, holding a gun to the head of of Republicans and of American taxpayers, and demanding a reward to illegal immigrants as any kind of deal that would keep the government open. I mean, think about, we're actually in some very dangerous times right now with North Korea shooting ICBMs over Japan, and terrorists trying to get into the United States and attack our people. For the federal government to be shut down for the only reason, for the stated purpose of that they failed to give an amnesty to illegal immigrants, is absolutely outrageous. And it would be ironic if President Trump caved into them and gave them the amnesty that they're demanding, though, because that would really be the only legislative accomplishment he had in immigration for the entire year, when he was actually, elected on an immigration reform plank that certainly did not include an amnesty. In fact, he was strongly against it. So this is going to be a very interesting week, and we are urging the Republicans to hold fast against any demands on DACA. The amnesty that we're talking about is referred to as DACA, Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals. It would affect about 800,000 plus illegal immigrants. And the deadline for DACA is not actually until March. The program's been ended, but they have until March to find a working solution in Congress. And it is absolutely outrageous that the Democrats are thinking about shutting down the government in order to achieve an amnesty for illegal aliens. And it shows you really who they're working for. They're not working for U.S. voters and U.S. citizens. They see themselves as being, as their primary constituents, being illegal aliens. I mean, look at their priorities. It really boggles the mind.
David Ray, you mentioned a minute ago that Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton and Chuck Schumer voted on this 700 miles of fencing, wall fencing, whatever they were voting on, along the southern border. Donna and I own a farm, and on that farm we have livestock. And if we and let's say that we've got a south border of our property that goes on to another farm's property, and that border, let's say, is 2,000 feet long. Why would we put a 700-foot-long fence up there thinking that we're going to keep our livestock on our property? If a fence or a wall is going to be constructed, then should it not be constructed that you can't walk around one end of it?
Well, there are absolutely segments of the border that need President Trump's wall. There are other segments that just need secure double fencing. There are some segments, according to the Border Patrol, that can be best patrolled by remote sensors. The farther you get away from these big urban areas on the border, like the city of Juarez or the city of Tijuana, the Border Patrol argues that if you put up structures in these busy areas and force would-be illegal immigrants and smugglers and possible terrorists out into the open where they're crossing into the United States through the desert or through the mountainous parts, those areas are at least easier, and here's the operational word, more safe for the Border Patrol to administer and to observe. And so, while I don't believe, and we've never thought that you need a wall from the Gulf of Mexico to the Pacific Ocean, we certainly do need structures in some areas. That's what the Border Patrol has called for. They've called, it's various forms. Some of it's a wall, some of it's a double secure fencing. So it's actually two fences side by side with enough room in between them for Border Patrol trucks to drive. And in other parts, it can just be staffed remotely. But the point is that for those people who say walls keep people out, I would challenge them to think about this. America has always been a welcoming country, and just like the walls of your house don't keep people from visiting you, do they? They keep the people out of your house who aren't invited, and those who are invited come through your front door, correct? Mm-hmm. Same thing works for our nation. Walls in certain parts of our country don't keep people out of our country. Our open doors, our ports of entry, our airports, all these things are still open and welcoming to visitors and to new immigrants. But what those walls do is ensure that the bad apples stay out, that we know who's coming into our country, and that only those who are supposed to be getting here do so. And that's why we need to secure the borders.
Exactly. Well, David Ray, the half hour's gone by so quickly. There's so much more we can talk about. One thing we can hope is that Donald Trump stands true on DACA and not allow this to go through, because all that is a bunch of undocumented Democrats, in my opinion. But David Ray, can everybody still find out about the Federation for American Immigration Reform by going to fairus.org?
Yes, fairus.org. It lands you on our homepage, and right there is a brief synopsis of what's about to happen a week from today on December 22nd here in Washington. If you want to stop any kind of DACA amnesty from being shoved down your throat, visit our website and take action there. You can contact your members of Congress, your senators, tell them no thanks, no amnesty, talk about it next year, keep the government open through Christmas. This is not a way to ring in the new year. fairus.org, or if you're a Twitter handle follower, we're at Fair Immigration.
Great. David Ray, thank you so much for joining us here as usual on Cowboy Logic
Radio. Always a pleasure.
And we're going to get into the Christmas spirit after the break. A little special coming up, maybe even a little Adam Sandler for our Jewish buddies and budettes. It's coming up next on Cowboy Logic Radio.
Cowboys didn't dance, didn't wear designer shirts. Their hearts were filled with memories, their bodies filled with hurt. They would sit around the campfire and exchange a piercing glance. Back when the West was really wild, cowboys didn't dance. When cowboys didn't dance, didn't wear designer shirts. When their hearts were filled with memories, their bodies filled with hurt. They would sit around the campfire and exchange a piercing glance. Back when the West was really wild, cowboys didn't dance.
Check us out on the web at cowboylogic.us.
Hello, everyone. I'm Donna Fiducia.
And I'm Don Neuen, and this is Cowboy Logic Radio.
Cowboys didn't dance, didn't wear designer shirts. When their hearts were filled with memories, their bodies filled
welcome back to Cowboy Logic.
Good
Radio.
evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Don Neuen.
Yeah, we're trying to get into the Christmas spirit here.
That's right.
It's a couple days before Christmas, and you still have to puke
All
your
right,
name.
here, I'll do it again.
Okay.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Ho, ho, ho. Se llamo Donaldo Neuen.
And Feliz Navidad.
Navidad.
Okay.
How was that, Donna?
It was great, sort of.
Well, no, I found that to be very
Actually,
impressive.
very funny. You are very funny. There's never a dull
funny is
moment
not
with
what
you.
I was trying to do, Donna.
It's not impressive. Your Spanish
It reminds you of
is
rich
terrible.
Corinthian leather.
Yeah, but your Spanish is terrible, Ricardo Montalban.
Zipline! Zipline!
The rich Corinthian leather.
All right, well, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to do something a little different this hour. And we're going to do something that's going to take Donna Fiducia back to her very roots.
I get to play DJ.
She gets to play DJ.
I haven't done that since I played Alice's Restaurant Massacre.
That's right.
On WNEW-FM some 20 years ago. On
It
two
was
separate
longer than
occasions.
20 years ago, Donna.
Yeah, it might have been 30.
There you go.
Jeez.
Let's get back into the correct math here.
Tempest Fugit.
So at any rate, ladies and gentlemen, we'd like for you to sit back, relax, and enjoy the next hour of Christmas music picked by yours truly, Donna Fiducia, and I'm DJ Don Neuen, ladies and gentlemen.
You're the producer.
All right, so what's the first
You
song
play
that's
the
up, Donna?
songs I tell you to
The
play.
big first song that's up. Your
Well,
big pick.
It's my favorite because you guys know I love John Lennon. And I'm just heartbroken over the fact that we were robbed from some great music because he did die so terribly so many years ago. But this is just a wonderful song that always gets me into the Christmas spirit and puts a lump in your throat as well. Happy Christmas, John Lennon.
So this is Christmas, and what have you done? Another year over, and a new one just begun. And so this is Christmas. I hope you have fun. The near and the dear ones, the old and the young. A very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Let's hope it's a good one without any fear. So this is Christmas, for weak and for strong, the rich and the poor ones. The road is so long, and so happy Christmas for black and for white, for yellow and red ones. Let's stop all the fights. Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Let's hope it's a good one
And I just love that song. Love it. It's not Christmas till you hear that song in my book.
I wonder if Yoko went, John Lennon, John Lennon, I love you, John Lennon.
You are so bad.
You think she did that? I think she did that.
You are so politically
All right, ladies
incorrect.
and gentlemen, so now it's my turn to pick a song.
I can't believe you just said
Yeah, John Lennon, go get the cataract. Let's go into New York. York. All right, so here we go. You know, we're only going to get through about 3 songs if we move at this pace. So I'm going to pick it up right now. And ladies and gentlemen, my favorite Christmas song of all time, every year, as long as I have been alive, is O Holy Night.
Mm-hmm. Hello, everyone. I'm Donna Fiducia.
And I'm Don Neuen. And this is Cowboy Logic Radio.
Cowboys didn't dance, didn't wear designer shirts. When their hearts were filled with memories, their bodies filled with hurt. They would sit around the campfire and exchange a piercing glare. Yes, back when the West was really wild, cowboys didn't dance.
And welcome to Cowboy Logic Radio, everyone. I'm Donna Fiducia. I had to blurt my name out because normally I can't get it in until you blurt your name out, but I see you're clearing your throat.
Okay. All right, here we go. Are we ready to start the show?
We started about 30 seconds ago. Where have you been?
Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Don Neuen, and I'm coming to you live from the Talk America Radio studios in Dallas, Texas.
Not really. That's TalkAmericaRadio.us studios that originate in Dallas, but that's our network. We're actually in Georgia.
All right, let me try it again.
Okay.
All right.
Try it again.
Hi, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Don Neuen, and I'm coming to you live from the WDDQ Talk 92.1 FM studios in Valdosta, Georgia.
Well, we're there too, but that's not where we actually are.
Man, do you have any idea how tiring this is doing this?
Yeah, it's tiring watching you do it too because you get all, like, you shake when you start to blurt out your name. It's really pretty funny to watch.
Let's see if it works with WJHC.
Okay.
Are you ready? Okay. Mm-hmm. You want to count me down?
3, 2, 1.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Don Neuen, and I'm coming to you live from the WJHC Talk 107.5 FM studios in Jasper, Florida.
And there's one more that you left out, which is actually closest to where we originate from, Carrollton.
Right.
My
Nobody.
gosh, can that guy sing?
I got to tell you something, ladies and gentlemen. While we were picking these songs to play for you tonight, I watched that video, Donna, of Pavarotti singing in Montreal, Canada. And I have never had tears roll out of my eyes, ever. And with my dad doing what he does, I've seen the greatest.
Yeah. You've seen him perform the Messiah.
And tears rolled out of my eyes on that song. Well, it was amazing.
This next song will do the same thing to you. Does it to me. It's called Christmas Shoes, and it's performed by New Song. It's a Christian group, and it's about a little boy whose mom is terminally ill, and he doesn't have any money, and he's trying to buy shoes for his mom in case she sees Jesus tonight. And behind him in line is a guy just ho-hum trying to finish his Christmas shopping, and he's just not thinking about the reason for the season until he sees this little boy. Christmas Shoes, performed by New Song.
It was almost Christmas time. There I stood in another line, trying to buy that last gift or two. Not really in the Christmas mood. Standing right in front of me was a little boy waiting anxiously, pacing round like little boys do. And in his hands he held a pair of shoes, and his clothes were worn and old. He was dirty from head to toe. And when it came his time to pay, I couldn't believe what I heard him say. Sir, I want to buy these shoes for my mama, please. It's Christmas Eve and these shoes are just her size. Could you hurry, sir? Daddy says there's not much time. You see, she's been sick for quite a while, and I know these shoes will make her smile, and I want her to look beautiful if Mama meets Jesus tonight. They counted pennies for what seemed like years. Then the cashier said, son, there's not enough here. He searched his pockets frantically. Then he turned and he looked at me. He said, Mama made Christmas good at our house, though most years she just did without. Tell me, sir, what am I gonna do? Somehow I've gotta buy her these Christmas shoes. So I laid the money down. I just had to help him out. And I'll never forget the look on his face when he said, Mama's gonna look so great. Sir, I wanna buy these shoes for my mama, please. It's Christmas Eve and these shoes are just her size. Could you hurry, sir? Daddy says there's not much time. You see, she's been sick for quite a while, and I know these shoes will make her smile, and I want her to look beautiful if Mama meets Jesus tonight. I knew I'd caught a glimpse of heaven's love as he thanked me and ran out. I knew that God had sent that little boy to remind me what Christmas is all about.
Sir, I wanna buy these shoes for my mama, please. It's Christmas Eve and these shoes are just her size.
Could you hurry, sir? Daddy says there's not much time. You see, she's been sick for quite a while. Know these shoes will make her smile, and I want her to look beautiful if Mama meets Jesus tonight.
I want her to look beautiful if Mama meets Jesus tonight.
Man, if that doesn't make the tears just
does make you well up a little bit there.
Really does.
Let's take a ride over to Memphis,
There you go.
Tennessee. Yeah, a little bit of Elvis.
My mother thought Elvis was so vulgar. I'm just thinking about, these shoes and, if Mommy meets Jesus tonight, I'm thinking, my mother thought Elvis was, he's so vulgar.
Yeah, thank you very much.
So whenever I play something like this, you go, turn that off.
All right, well, here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Elvis singing Blue Christmas.
I'll have a blue Christmas without you. I'll be so blue just thinking about you. red on a green Christmas tree won't be the same, dear, if you're not here with me. And when those blue snowflakes start falling, that's when those blue memories start calling. You'll be doing alright with your Christmas of white, but I have a blue, 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 blue Christmas. You'll be doing all right with your Christmas of white, but I have a blue, 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 blue Christmas.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you. That was a beautiful song I just sang. Thank you very much.
We really do terrible
Thank you very
Elvis
much.
imitations.
Oh, I gotta go to the bathroom. It's
Will you
killing me.
Let's move on.
That
to
really was in
California.
poor taste.
Yeah, very. Considering we're trying to get in the Christmas spirit here, let's go out to California.
But we're DJing right
This
now,
is
so
true.
we can have a little bit of chutzpah.
It is a lot of fun to do, I must
Chutzpah.
admit.
How do you say it?
Chutzpah.
Yeah.
We'll do that in a minute with Adam Sandler. But first, let's...
When we send one out to all of our Jewish buddies.
Right.
All right, so here's what's going on, ladies and gentlemen. My dad used to be the choral conductor for the Crystal Cathedral, Dr. Robert Schuler. He was there for like 30 years.
Yep.
All right, and he retired.
He's the best.
And yes, he is the best. And last Christmas, which would have been 2016, Donna and I had the honor and the pleasure of attending the 2016 Hour of Power Christmas service in
Orange
Garden
County,
Grove, Garden Grove, California. And we met a young lady that became a friend of ours. Her name is Kelly Cruz. And Kelly sang Silent Night. And it's absolutely beautiful. So with this song, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to jump on a plane. We are going to fly to Garden Grove, California for the Hour of Power, conducted by my dad, Don Neuen. And the vocal soloist is one Kelly Cruz, Silent Night. Ladies and gentlemen, that was Kelly Cruz with The Hour of Power, conducted by my father, Don Neuen. Could not be more proud of him.
It's funny because he's the only other person in the world that can say, I'm Don Neuen.
Yeah, but I got to be honest.
Get away with it.
He pales in comparison when he radio pukes. Now, when he's conducting...
That's another story.
300 voices standing on a stage, nobody better on the surface of the earth, ladies and gentlemen. Don Neuen. All right, so what's up next, Donna? I think we need to just...
kid around a little bit?
Yeah, let's have a little fun now.
That would be Adam Sandler. And the Hanukkah song. And it's funny because down here in Georgia, they always say, there's no Jewish songs. I said, are you kidding me? You have to listen to the Hanukkah song. It's a no-brainer. Adam Sandler.
Time to take out the menorahs. Put on your yarmulke. It's time for Hanukkah. So much Hanukkah to celebrate Hanukkah. Hanukkah is the festival of lights. Instead of one day of presents, we get 8 crazy nights. But when you feel like the only kid in town without a Christmas tree, here's a new list of people who are Jewish. Just like you and me. Winona Ryder drinks Manischewitz wine, then spins a dreidel with Ralph Lauren and Calvin Klein. Guess who gives and receives loads of Hanukkah toys? The girls from Baruch Assault and all 3 Beastie Boys. Lenny Kravitz is half Jewish, Courtney Love is half too. Put them together, what a funky, badass shoe! We got Harvey Keitel and Flash dancer Jennifer Beals. Yasmin Bleeth from Baywatch is Jewish, and yes, her boobs are real. Put on that yarmulke, it's time for Hanukkah. 2-time Oscar winner Dustin Hoffman celebrates Hanukkah. O.J. Simpson, still not a Jew. But guess who is? The guy who does the voice for Scooby-Doo. Bob Dylan was born a Jew, then he wasn't, but now he's back. Mary Tyler Moore's husband is Jewish, 'cause we're pretty good in the sack. Guess who got bar mitzvahed on the PGA Tour? No, I'm not talking about Tiger Woods, I'm talking about Mr. Happy Gilmore. So many Jews are in the showbiz. Bruce Springsteen isn't Jewish, but my mother thinks he is. Tell Darul Hanukkah, it's time to celebrate Hanukkah. It's not pronounced Chanukah. The C is silent in Hanukkah. So read your hooked on Hanukkah. Get drunk in Tijuana. If you really, really wanna go, have a happy Hanukkah. Peace and love to everybody.
Bruce Springsteen doesn't celebrate Hanukkah. My mother thinks he does.
That's hilarious.
Gotta love it. There are actually 4 versions of that. Adam Sandler has like 4 sets of people that celebrate Hanukkah. It's funny, decades ago when I was on with Howard Stern, when I first started in radio, he did the same thing. It was great, and it's hilarious. It really is very funny. But let's talk about you now, Don Neuen, because a lot of people don't realize that you, yourself, are a wonderful musician.
Well, that's your opinion, and
I've heard you play. You're pretty darn good.
Well, what she's talking about, ladies and gentlemen, is, as you learned at the beginning of this hour, my favorite Christmas song is "O Holy Night." And about 5 years ago, Donna and I went to see Vince Gill and Amy Grant at the Fox Theater in Atlanta. And it was a wonderful performance. On the way home, on the drive home, I decided that once I got home, I was going to hit the recording studio and I was going to record my own version of "O Holy Night." Now, there are no lyrics, and I don't ever record vocals. Everything I do is instrumental.
You never sing, but you should. I know you won't, though.
Well, here's the thing. I use the guitar or keyboards to create the melody line. So this is a little different, "O Holy Night." This is the version that I did maybe 5-6 years ago. And I let the guitar sing the melody line.
Don Neuen, folks. That's my baby playing Old Holy Night.
Yeah, but you know what? You didn't think that when I was writing and recording that all those nights, because I played it over and over and over, micromanaging every single note, every nuance, and you probably had to listen to that version of Oh Holy Night right here in our home probably 5,000 times.
And every nuance.
Nuance, yeah. Hey, I think that's the first time that I've had that song ever played on the radio.
Yeah, you know what? It shouldn't be the last, because it's great. It really is great.
Who wants to listen, though, to an instrumental version of Oh Holy Night?
Yeah, it's pretty
other than
good.
me.
Well, I think it's great.
All right, well, All right, so what are we going to play? We're
going to get back to the classics?
Yeah, let's go back to 1942.
Okay.
Now, you were born, I wasn't.
I was not.
You weren't?
But I do know the movie this came from, Holiday Inn, was the name of the movie.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
See, I didn't know that.
White Christmas. Is that racist?
That is racist now.
I think so.
But then again, you've got Blue Christmas, and that is like, I'm sure Smurfs don't like that.
No, I agree. I think, you just can't insult anybody anymore. So you might as well just not say anything.
Maybe this should be called Plaid Christmas.
Purple Christmas.
Yeah, that's for grading paper.
Christmas.
You don't want to grade a paper, ladies and gentlemen. All you school teachers that are listening, only grade the papers in lavender.
Okay, there you go.
Because it's more of a calming effect when a student is failing miserably. Mm-hmm. All right, we weren't going to get political, and I had to. Go ahead, Donna. Let's intro the next.
Bing Crosby. No, just hardly, well, I shouldn't say no better voice, but he sure as heck had one of the top voices and the classics going back for everybody through the Christmas years. And this would be White Christmas.
I'm dreaming of a white Christmas, just like the ones I used to know, where the treetops glisten and children listen to hear sleigh bells in the snow. I'm dreaming of a white Christmas, with every Christmas card I write. May your days be merry and bright, and may all your Christmases be white. I'm dreaming of a white Christmas, just like the ones I used to know, where the treetops glisten and children listen to hear the sleigh bells in the snow. With every Christmas card I write, may your day be merry and bright, and may all your Christmases be white.
Bing Crosby, White
I wonder
Christmas.
if when Bing was a younger guy and he would go, say, down to the VFW Club for a weekend, maybe a Saturday night at the VFW Club, would he ever play bingo?
It's so bad.
And what happens when Bing Crosby has a bingo?
He yells bingo.
Bingo, Bing.
There you go.
Looks like Bing his bingo.
Bing, there you go. No, White Christmas and a lot of these old
Did he ever
classics,
have a dog named Bingo?
Will you be quiet? Bingo, Bingo. You get me off on this tangent. You always interrupt him.
That's right.
All of these old classic Christmas songs had their roots in World War II. I'll be home, for Christmas, if only in my dreams, because these were soldiers that were singing this stuff, that kind of thing. And I'll tell you, these songs really were very, very patriotic as well as religious. And you just got to love them because that's really what it's all about.
Well, now we're going to be very patriotic for all of our friends in Alabama. Is that okay with you, Donna?
Yeah, I guess.
And we're going to have a Georgia boy do it.
Mm-hmm.
Jeff Foxworthy. Ladies and gentlemen, this next classic hit are the 12 days of a redneck Christmas. What do you say we just get after it?
Woo! Somebody done been to the Walmart.
Man, that's just the stuff I got for Christmas.
Well, you cleaned up. What'd you get?
5 flannel shirts.
4 big mud tires, 3 shotgun shells, 2 hunting dogs, and some parts to a Mustang GT.
You fool, you got Jeff first 12 days to Christmas.
I know that. I got it covered. Look over in the corner.
That's yours, too?
Yeah, 12 pack of Bud, 11 wrestling tickets, 10 of Copenhagen, 9 years probation, 8 table dancers, 7 packs of Red Man, 6 cans of Spam,
5 flannel shirts.
4 big mud tires, 3 shotgun shells, 2 hunting dogs, and some parts to a Mustang GT.
Man, these ain't normal Christmas presents.
No, they're redneck gifts.
Redneck gifts?
Yeah, like if you buy your wife earrings that double as fishing lures, or if you convert the entire chorus of Jingle Bells. Perhaps if you think the Nutcracker is something you did off of a high dive, or if you've ever misspelled anything in Christmas lights, or if you leave cold beer and pickled eggs for Santa Claus.
What's wrong with that?
I didn't say anything wrong with it. It's hard to beat. 12 pack of Bud, 11 wrestling tickets, 10 of Copenhagen, 9 years probation, 8 table dancers, 7 packs of Red Man, 6 cans of Spam,
5 flannel shirts.
4 big mud tires, 3 shotgun shells, 2 hunting dogs, and some parts to a Mustang GT.
Well, you can't really consider it a Christmas unless you go down to the penitentiary and visit your mama.
You're not listening to me. Get the car key out of your ear. That's where the 9 years probation comes in. I'm going to do it for you again. Now listen. 12 pack of Bud, 11 wrestling tickets, 10 of Copenhagen, 9 years probation, 8 table dancers, 7 packs of Red Man, 6 cans of Spam,
5 flannel shirts.
4 big mud tires, 3 shotgun shells, 2 hunting dogs, and some parts to a Mustang GT. Are you crying?
No, it's just my allergies.
Happy holidays, everybody.
Yeah! How'd you like that, Donna? You're not used to that kind of stuff, are you?
Well, I love Jeff Foxworthy.
Yeah, but after 10 years of being down here, you're starting to become a little bit of a redneck, aren't you?
We actually got to meet him.
A New Jersey Italian redneck.
I am. We got to meet Jeff Foxworthy at the Neil Bortz roast.
That's right,
that was
we
very
did.
Cool. And I are a redneck because
You know what he said? Hold on a second. You know what he said when we met him at Neil Bortz's deal?
What?
He came up to me and goes, "Hey, you're Don Neuen."
No, he didn't.
Yes, he did. That's what he said to me.
Not.
Yes, he did. That was the night I got kicked out of the Fox for carrying a weapon into the Fox Theater.
And it's because of you. The Fox Theater now has
That's because of me.
handgun with the red line through it posted.
Which they did not
Because they did
have.
not at the time.
That's right.
It's all your fault.
But I complied. I was not some kind of a schmuck that gave anybody trouble. I marched my little butt right out of the Fox Theater and went backstage because we had credentials.
But I was a redneck even up in New Jersey because I know how many bales of hay my car holds.
You might be a redneck.
It's true.
If you drag your ring with a Toyota Camry.
Yes,
which you did, Donna Fiducia, your riding ring.
10 bales of hay in a Toyota Camry, too. I still have that Toyota Camry.
And the hay's still in it.
It's true. And it's got 315,000 miles. I dragged my riding ring in New Jersey, and I picked up hay in that damn thing.
Good for you.
Strapped up to the roof and everything. I can fit 10 bales of hay in a Toyota Camry. I dare anybody to beat that one.
You put 10 bales of hay in a Toyota Camry. You go on and do it now. All right, so what's next, Donna?
Well, speaking of New Jersey and Atlanta, this woman... May she
lived
rest
in New Jersey and Atlanta.
Lived in New Jersey and Atlanta as well, not far from where I lived in New Jersey. And boy, there was just nobody who could sing the national anthem better than Whitney Houston, but this one is a real close second. Chestnuts roasting on an open fire.
Actually, you know what? I think this is called the Christmas song.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
I didn't know. I just know it is chestnuts roasting on an open fire, but that's cool too. Whitney Houston.
Chestnuts roasting on an open fire. Jack Frost nipping at your nose. Yuletide carols being sung by a choir, and folks dressed up like Eskimos. Everybody knows a turkey and some mistletoe well help to make the season bright. Tiny little tots with their eyes all aglow will find it hard to sleep tonight. Never they know it, they know that Santa's on his way. He's loaded lots of toys and goodies on his sleigh. Everybody's mother's child is going to spy to see if reindeers really know how to fly. And so I'm offering this simple phrase from kids from 1 to 92. Although it's been said many times, many ways, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa, Merry Christmas to all of you.
Man, can she sing, but not like the Italians.
No, the Italians, we did a survey earlier, Donna, and the survey said the Italians won tonight.
We heard from Pavarotti and Oh Holy Night. Now let's end the hour and our little Christmas gift to all of our listeners with Andrea Bocelli.
Hey, you know what? Bocelli is a client of mine.
Really?
Yeah.
Man, does he have a great voice.
And my dad was going to conduct with him when they were in L.A.
But couldn't fit it into
because
his
of the
schedule.
Christmas concert that was taking place.
Life is rough when you're both
When you're turning down
superstars.
Bocelli.
It really is. Anyhow, this is In Excelsis Deo, translated in Latin, Glory to God in the highest.
Sopra i cieli ancor più su, dolci canti di angeli, e dai monti
Bravo, bravo. And that is our little Christmas card to you, our wonderful Cowboy Logic listeners. May I, Donna Fiducia.
And I'm Don Neuen, and I would like to wish you a Merry Christmas to all.
And a Happy Hanukkah and a very, very Happy New Year.